Hey there, treasure hunters. Did you know that a simple nickel could change your life? That's right, I'm talking about the 1996 P Jefferson nickel. This little coin might just be hiding in your pocket change, and guess what? One of these bad boys is worth a jaw-dropping $2 million. Yes, you heard me right, $2 million. Stick around, because I'm about to tell you why this nickel is worth more than some houses, how to spot one, and a funny story about the time I thought I struck it rich. Spoiler, I didn't. But maybe you will. First, what makes the 1996 P Jefferson nickel so special? Well, this isn't just any nickel. We're talking about a rare error coin. For those who don't know, error coins happen when something goes wrong during the minting process. And collectors? They go absolutely bananas for these mistakes. It's like the coin world's version of a celebrity scandal. The messier, the better. Now, the 1996 P Jefferson nickel we're talking about has a very specific error. It's called a double die error. This means that some parts of the coin, like the lettering or the design, look like they've been stamped twice. Think of it like seeing double after a long night out, but on a coin. These errors are rare, and when one pops up, collectors are ready to pay top dollar. Or, in this case, $2 million. So, how do you spot this golden, or should I say nickel, opportunity? First, grab a magnifying glass. Yes, you'll look like a detective, but it's worth it. Check the word Liberty and the date. If they look a little wobbly or doubled, you might be onto something. Also, flip the coin over and check Monticello, Jefferson's famous home. If you see doubling there too, congratulations. You might be holding a fortune. Now, here's a funny story. A few years back, I was rummaging through an old coin jar. You know the one, it's been sitting on the counter forever, full of sticky pennies and that one mysterious button. Anyway, I found a 1996 nickel. My heart nearly stopped. I grabbed my magnifying glass and inspected it like my life depended on it. The Liberty looked different. My palms were sweaty, knees weak, arms, okay, you get it. I was convinced I had the $2 million coin. Long story short, it was just a regular nickel, and I felt like a fool. But hey, I'm not giving up, and neither should you. So, what have we learned today? First, check your pocket change, coin jars, and maybe even the couch cushions. The 1996 P Jefferson nickel with a double die error could be out there waiting for you. Remember to use a magnifying glass, and don't be afraid to nerd out over coins. This is serious money we're talking about. Maybe just trying to grab enough for a coffee, and you stumble upon a nickel that could change your life, literally. I'm talking about a 2006 P Jefferson nickel that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right, a nickel worth more than most houses. Today, we're diving into what makes this little coin so incredibly valuable and how you can start your own treasure hunt. So grab your loose change and stick around, this is going to be fun. Why is this nickel so special? The 2006 P Jefferson nickel isn't your run-of-the-mill 5-cent piece. Most of these coins are worth, well, 5 cents. But one specific coin, due to a combination of rarity, condition, and a fascinating error, skyrocketed to that $1.8 million price tag. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I know if I have this magical coin in my pocket? Well, here's what to look for. Start with the mint mark. That P under the year 2006 tells you it was minted in Philadelphia. But the real kicker is in the coin's condition and a unique error that makes it one of a kind. This particular nickel is in pristine condition, known as MS-70 in the coin world. That means no scratches, no wear, and it's as shiny as the day it was minted. Oh, and the error? It's all about a mysterious double die, basically, a slight doubling effect on some of the lettering or design. If you spot that, you might just have struck gold, or, well, nickel. Quick story time. A friend of mine, we'll call him Dave, once told me about how he almost threw away a rare coin because he didn't know what to look for. One day, he's sorting through change to pay for a snack, and he notices a weird shine on a nickel. Long story short, it turned out to be worth a couple $100. Not $1.8 million, but still, that's a pretty fancy snack budget. Moral of the story, always check your coins, folks. You never know what treasures are hiding in plain sight. Now, back to this 2006 P nickel. Even if you don't have the $1.8 million jackpot coin, there's still money to be made. Coins in high grades or with minor errors can still fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So, start digging through those jars of change, and if you've been ignoring the coins at the bottom of your purse or car cup holder, now's the time to give them some love. Alright, coin enthusiasts, here's the deal. That 2006 P Jefferson nickel is a prime example of why it pays, literally, to pay attention to your change. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, there's always a chance that your next big find is sitting in your pocket right now. Have you ever checked your pocket change and thought, what if I'm holding a fortune and don't even know it? Well, today, we're diving into a story that'll make you want to grab a magnifying glass and check every single coin in your house. We're talking about the 2007 P Jefferson nickel. Yep, just a regular nickel you'd probably overlook. But hold on, because one of these little guys is worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. Million, with an M. Now, before you start flipping over every nickel in sight, let's break down why this coin is so special. First off, the 2007 P Jefferson nickel is part of the modern Jefferson series, minted in Philadelphia. Most of these coins are super common and worth, well, 5 cents. But the one we're talking about today isn't just any ordinary nickel. This rare beauty was accidentally struck on a gold planchet, a blank piece of metal used for making coins, instead of the standard nickel material. That's like getting served a filet mignon when you ordered a burger. Mistakes like this don't happen often, and when they do, collectors go absolutely bananas for them. The lucky owner of this coin discovered it by complete accident. And here's where things get interesting. Picture this, you're at a gas station, buying a soda, and you hand the cashier $1. You get some change back, toss it in your pocket, and forget about it. Weeks later, you're sorting through your change jar and boom, there it is, a shiny little nickel that feels just a bit different. That's pretty much how the owner of this $1.5 million nickel stumbled upon their treasure. Talk about finding a golden ticket, right? Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if your 2007 P Jefferson nickel is the one? Here's the kicker, you're looking for a coin that's got a golden hue, because it's literally made of gold. It might also feel a bit lighter or look slightly off compared to your regular nickels. And if you've got one that seems suspiciously fancy, it's time to take it to a professional coin grader or an auction house. Don't just post a blurry photo on Facebook asking, is this worth something? Trust me, that's not going to get you anywhere. Speaking of getting nowhere, let me share a quick story. A few years ago, I got this weird-looking nickel as change at a coffee shop. I was convinced it was something rare. I mean, it had this odd discoloration and looked older than it should. I spent hours Googling, comparing photos, and even joined a coin forum to ask for advice. Turns out, it wasn't some rare error coin, it had just been through the washing machine one too many times. Lesson learned, not every odd coin is a jackpot. But hey, the thrill of the hunt is half the fun, right? Now back to our $1.5 million nickel. Once it was authenticated, it hit the auction block and created a bidding frenzy. Why? Because serious coin collectors will pay top dollar, or in this case, top million, for unique pieces like this. So, if you ever find one, you're not just looking at a coin, you're looking at a life-changing payday. Before we wrap up, here's the deal. Rare coins like this are out there. They might be sitting in your junk drawer, your change jar, or even in that little tray in your car. So, start checking your nickels. Who knows? The next big discovery could be yours. Did you know there might be a $1.4 million jackpot hiding in your pocket change? That's right, we're talking about a 2008 D Jefferson nickel. Yes, a nickel. The kind of coin you might toss in a tip jar or forget under your car seat. Today, we're diving into why this little 5-cent wonder is worth more than a mansion. So grab your loose change and let's see if you're sitting on a gold mine. The 2008 D Jefferson nickel was minted in Denver, that's the D mark. It's a pretty ordinary coin at first glance, but here's the twist. A small batch of these nickels came out with a very unique minting error. The dies used to stamp the coins were misaligned, creating a rare and highly collectible variety. Coin nerds like me call this a rotated die error. And trust me, in the world of numismatics, fancy word for coin collecting, errors are like hidden Easter eggs that collectors pay big bucks to find. So, what makes this specific coin so valuable? It's all about rarity and demand. Imagine you're at an exclusive party where there's only one bowl of nachos. Suddenly, everyone's desperate for nachos. Same deal with this nickel. Only a handful of these error coins were made, and collectors are practically tripping over themselves to get one. It's a supply and demand thing, except instead of chips, it's nickels worth millions. Now, let me tell you a story. A couple years back, I was sorting through some old coins my grandpa gave me. Most of them were just your average pennies and nickels, but then I spotted a 2008 D Jefferson nickel. My heart skipped a beat. Could this be the one? I grabbed my magnifying glass, examined it from every angle, and, nope. Just a regular nickel. But for about 5 minutes, I was mentally planning my island getaway. That's the thrill of the hunt, my friends. Here's what you need to look for if you're hunting for this coin. First, check for the D mint mark on the right side of Monticello, Jefferson's home on the back of the coin. Next, look for that telltale rotated die error. If the alignment looks off when you flip the coin, you might be in business. And if you're not sure, get it checked out by a professional grader. A small investment could pay off big time. Now, let's talk about the market value. One of these coins sold at auction for $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right, million. That's enough to buy a yacht, a sports car, and still have change left for lunch. And while your odds of finding this particular nickel are slim, it's not impossible. People win the lottery, right? Same energy here. The key is persistence. Keep checking your change, because you never know what's out there. Alright, folks, that's the scoop on the 2008 D Jefferson nickel and why it could be your ticket to millionaire status. Coins like this remind us that sometimes the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. So the next time you get a handful of change, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. Who knows? You might just find a fortune. You're digging through your loose change, maybe fishing out a nickel to pay for parking, and bam, you're holding onto a cool $1 million. Yes, you heard me right, a single 2021 D mint mark Jefferson nickel could be your golden ticket, or should I say nickel-plated ticket. Today, we're diving into the incredible story behind this tiny treasure, its jaw-dropping value, and how you could potentially cash in on one. So, grab your coin jars and let's get started. Let me tell you about this little guy, the 2021 D Jefferson nickel. Now, at first glance, it might look like any other nickel rattling around in your pocket. But what makes it special? It's all about the rare combination of a minting anomaly and its pristine condition. That's right, this isn't just any nickel, it's like the rock star of nickels. Think of it as the Elvis Presley of loose change. Here's the kicker. Back in 2021, the Denver Mint accidentally produced a handful of Jefferson nickels with a striking error. The details of the Monticello building on the reverse side are slightly misaligned, creating what experts call a ghost Monticello. That tiny error turned an ordinary 5-cent piece into a highly sought-after collector's item. Now, let me hit you with some market stats. In pristine condition, known as MS-70 in the coin grading world, one of these nickels recently sold at auction for a whopping $1 million. That's enough to buy a mansion, a luxury car, or fund your dream vacation, all from one little coin. And the best part? These coins are still out there, hidden in circulation. Imagine that, your coffee money could literally pay off your mortgage. Alright, let's get personal for a second. I remember the time I started hunting for rare coins. One day, I found an old penny with an odd sheen. I was so excited, I thought I hit the jackpot. Turns out, it was just a penny someone polished, but hey, the thrill was real. That's the fun of coin collecting. Every coin has a story, and you never know when you'll stumble upon a treasure like the 2021 D Nickel. So, how can you increase your odds of finding one of these gems? Start by checking your pocket change, your couch cushions, and yes, even that neglected jar of coins you've been meaning to cash in. And when you find a 2021 nickel with the D mint mark, take a close look. A magnifying glass helps. If it has that ghost Monticello error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. And if you're not sure about its value, a local coin shop or grading service can help you out. Alright, friends, that's the scoop on the 2021 D mint mark Jefferson nickel that's turning heads and breaking bank accounts. Who knew a tiny piece of metal could be worth $1 million? So, what are you waiting for? Start hunting for those nickels, and who knows, you might just hit the jackpot. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips on valuable coins, how to spot them, and strategies to make money from your collection. Don't miss out, your next big discovery could be just one video away. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting. Hey there, treasure hunters. Did you know that you might be carrying a jackpot in your pocket without even knowing it? That's right. Today, we're talking about a humble little coin that could change your life forever, the 1964 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel. And get this, one of these recently sold for a jaw-dropping $2.6 million. Yup, million. So, grab your coin jars, and let's dive into what makes this nickel so valuable and how you might just have one sitting in your couch cushions. First things first, let's talk about what makes the 1964 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel so special. Back in 1964, the U.S. Mint was cranking out coins like there was no tomorrow. To meet demand, they produced billions, yes, billions, of nickels that year. But here's the kicker, not all of them were created equal. Some coins were struck without a mint mark, meaning they were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. While this was pretty common, what's rare is finding one in pristine condition with certain die errors or unique characteristics. Now, you're probably wondering, what's so unique about this $2.6 million nickel? Well, the coin in question wasn't just your average no-mint mark nickel. It was a proof coin, a special type of coin with a mirror-like finish, typically made for collectors. Somehow, this proof nickel ended up in circulation. It's like finding a Rolex at a garage sale for $5. Experts believe it's one of a kind, and that's why it fetched such a crazy price at auction. Let me share a quick story. A few years ago, I was sorting through a jar of loose change my grandma had been saving since the Stone Age. Among the pennies, dimes, and Canadian quarters, why are there always so many of those? I spotted a 1964 nickel. My heart skipped a beat, thinking I might have hit the jackpot. Turns out, it wasn't the rare proof version, but it was still worth more than face value. That moment taught me an important lesson: every coin has a story, and you never know what treasures might be hiding in plain sight. So, how can you tell if you have a valuable 1964 no-mint mark nickel? Here's the rundown: look for that no-mint mark. If it's not there, you're off to a good start. Check the condition. The closer it is to mint state, the more it's worth. Look for proof-like qualities, a shiny, mirror-like surface and sharp details. Consider getting it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly what your coin is worth and certify its authenticity. And even if your nickel isn't worth millions, don't despair. A regular 1964 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel in great condition can still fetch you a pretty penny, or nickel, in this case. Some of these coins go for $20, $50, or even $100. It's not a mansion in Beverly Hills, but hey, it's better than 5 cents, right? Alright, folks, now it's your turn to play treasure hunter. Go through your change jars, your piggy banks, or even that cup holder in your car. You never know what you might find. And who knows? Maybe you'll be the next lucky person to discover a multi-million-dollar coin. You're digging through some loose change, and out pops a nickel that's not just 5 cents, but a whopping $2.5 million. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1978 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel. Yep, it's real, it's rare, and it could be lurking in your pocket right now. Let's talk about why this little coin is worth more than most of our cars. First off, what's the deal with the no-mint mark thing? Usually, coins have a tiny letter on them to indicate where they were minted, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. But in 1978, some nickels escaped the mint without that identifying mark. These are the ones we're after. Now, you might be wondering, how does something like this even happen? Well, think of it like forgetting to sign your name on an important document. A small oversight at the mint turned these otherwise ordinary nickels into mega moneymakers for collectors. So, why the $2.5 million price tag? It's all about rarity and condition. Only a handful of these nickels exist, and the ones that are still in pristine condition, what coin geeks call MS-68 or Mint State 68, are the true gems. Picture a nickel so shiny it could blind you on a sunny day. That's the level we're talking about here, but here's the kicker, not every 1978 nickel without a mint mark is worth millions. Sorry to burst your bubble. If it's scratched, worn out, or looking like it went through a garbage disposal, it's probably not going to fund your dream vacation. Condition matters, folks. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was helping my uncle sort through his change jar. We weren't expecting much, maybe a few quarters for the laundromat, but then, there it was, a 1978 nickel with no mint mark. My uncle didn't believe it was worth anything, but I convinced him to get it checked out. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the jackpot coin, but it did sell for $500. Not bad for a nickel, right? Now, I know you're itching to check your change, but hold up, there's more. If you do find a potential 1978 no-mint mark nickel, here's what you need to do: get it authenticated. A professional grading service like PCGS or NGC can verify if it's the real deal. Check the condition. The closer it is to mint state, the higher its value. If you hit the jackpot, consult a coin dealer or auction house to get the best price. So there you have it, the story of how a simple nickel turned into a millionaire's dream. If you're like me, you're probably eyeing every coin in your house right now. And hey, who knows? Maybe your next trip to the grocery store will uncover your $2.5 million payday. Millionaire? I'm talking about $2.3 million for one tiny, seemingly ordinary coin. Crazy, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the fascinating story of this incredibly valuable nickel and how it can transform loose change into serious cash. First things first, let's talk about what makes this particular coin so special. The 1990 Jefferson Nickel with the D mint mark comes from the Denver Mint. Now, most 1990 D nickels aren't worth much more than 5 cents. But there's a rare variation that's literally worth its weight in gold, times about 100,000. Why? It all comes down to a freak error in the minting process. This coin has a unique die error, and experts believe only a handful of them exist. Basically, the mint messed up, creating a rare variety that collectors are going absolutely bonkers over. Imagine being the person who finds this nickel while cleaning out their car or digging through their couch cushions. That's like finding a $2.3 million golden ticket hiding in your snack crumbs. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I have one of these magic nickels? Great question. Here's what to look for: check the date, it must be from 1990. Simple enough, right? The mint mark, look for the tiny D under the date. This indicates it's from the Denver Mint. The error details: The real jackpot is the faint doubling effect on certain features, like the lettering or Jefferson's profile. This subtle flaw is what sets it apart from your run-of-the-mill nickels. If you think you've got one, don't just toss it back in the change jar. Instead, take it to a professional coin grader. They'll authenticate your find and potentially make your wallet very, very happy. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her basement. She's a bit of a hoarder, bless her heart, and we stumbled upon this rusty old tin box. Inside, a pile of coins so dusty you'd think they'd been hiding since the Great Depression. Among them was a shiny nickel that looked out of place. At first, I thought it might be one of these rare 1990 D nickels. My heart was racing as I Googled what to check for. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the $2.3 million jackpot. But it did turn out to be a collectible worth $50, which wasn't too shabby for a day's work. That's the thing about coin hunting, it's like a real-life treasure hunt. Sometimes you strike gold, and other times you end up with a quirky story and a few bucks. Either way, it's a win-win. So, what are you waiting for? Go raid your piggy banks, check under the car seats, and dig through your spare change. That 1990 D Jefferson nickel could be hiding in plain sight, just waiting to turn your 5 cents into a fortune. Finding a nickel in your pocket worth $2.1 million. Sounds like something out of a Hollywood movie, right? But today, we're talking about a real-life jackpot, the 1991 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel. Yup, that little 5-cent coin could make you a millionaire. Stick around, and I'll tell you why this coin is so valuable, how to spot one, and what makes it a true diamond in the rough. Oh, and I'll also share a funny little story about the time I thought I struck gold, or, in this case, nickel. So, what's the deal with the 1991 D Jefferson nickel? First, let's talk about the basics. The D stands for the Denver Mint, where this coin was produced. But not all 1991 D nickels are worth millions. Most are worth, well, 5 cents. The one we're talking about today is an incredibly rare error coin, a minting mistake that turned an ordinary nickel into a treasure. Here's what makes it special. This particular 1991 D nickel was struck on the wrong planchet, a piece of metal meant for another coin. The result? A nickel with unique features that no other coin has. Collectors go bananas for these kinds of errors, and they're willing to pay top dollar, or in this case, top millions, to get their hands on one. Now, let me take you back to a moment in my life. I was at a garage sale, casually sifting through a jar of old coins when I found a shiny nickel. My heart skipped a beat. Could this be it? Could I finally retire and buy that beach house? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Turned out to be a regular nickel, but hey, it got me thinking, how many of us might actually have one of these valuable coins just sitting around in a piggy bank or junk drawer? So, how can you tell if your 1991 D nickel is the real deal? First, check the date and the mint mark. The D should be on the right side of Thomas Jefferson's portrait. Next, look closely for any unusual features. If you're not sure, consider having it evaluated by a professional coin grader. These experts can authenticate your coin and determine its value, and let's talk about the current market value, $2.1 million. That's not just a nice house, that's a mansion, a dream vacation, and a few Teslas. The reason this coin fetched such a high price at auction is because of its rarity and condition. Coins like these are the unicorns of the numismatic world, and collectors will stop at nothing to add them to their collections. So, there you have it, the 1991 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, a tiny piece of metal with a massive price tag. Who knew something so small could change your life in such a big way? Now, here's your mission: go check your pockets, your couch cushions, and that jar of coins collecting dust on your shelf. You never know, you might be sitting on a fortune. 2000 P Mint Jefferson nickel just sold for a jaw-dropping $2 million. Yep, you heard me right. $2 million. That's enough to buy a mansion, a yacht, and still have leftover cash for your favorite snack cravings. So, if you're the kind of person who casually tosses their nickels into a jar, stick around, because you might just be sitting on a goldmine without even knowing it. Let's dive into why this little coin is making such big waves. First off, the 2000 Jefferson nickel isn't your average pocket change. We're talking about a P mint, which means it was minted in Philadelphia. Now, before you rush to raid your coin stash, here's what makes this particular nickel so special. It's not just about the date and mint mark, it's the condition. We're talking about a coin in pristine condition, graded as MS 68. For those of you scratching your heads, MS stands for mint state, and 68 is basically saying, this coin looks like it was minted yesterday and wrapped in bubble wrap ever since. What's even crazier is the rarity factor. Coins like this are unicorns. Out of millions minted, only a handful survive in this near-perfect state. And here's the kicker, the $2 million coin isn't even gold or silver. It's just plain old nickel and copper. But its value comes from its scarcity and flawless condition. Think of it as the coin world's version of a mint-condition comic book or an unopened first-edition video game. Collectors go bananas over that stuff. Now, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out an old drawer in my grandma's house. You know, one of those drawers that has everything from expired coupons to random keys nobody remembers the locks for. Anyway, I found a stash of coins and thought, why not look these up? Spoiler alert, none of them were worth $2 million, but one was valued at $50. Not bad for a few minutes of Googling, right? So, moral of the story? Never underestimate the power of a dusty old coin. Now, back to our $2 million nickel. If you're wondering how to know if you've got a winner, here's the lowdown. First, check the date and mint mark. It has to say 2000 with a little P on it. Second, look at the condition. If it's been through a parking meter or your dog's digestive system, sorry, it's not making the cut. Third, consider getting it professionally graded. Yes, it costs a bit, but hey, if your nickel turns out to be worth millions, it's a small price to pay. And if you're like, what's the deal with collectors paying so much? Think of it this way, some people collect art, others collect rare sneakers. Coin collectors. They're hunting for historical treasures. And when they find a gem like this, they're willing to shell out the big bucks. Alright, my friends, here's your mission. Go raid your piggy banks, check under the couch cushions, and definitely take a second look at that old jar of change sitting in your garage. Who knows? You might just stumble upon your own piece of $2 million history. And if you're as obsessed with coins as I am, hit that subscribe button. We're just getting started with tips and tricks to uncover hidden treasures in your everyday life. Until next time, keep flipping those coins and dreaming big.